Hello, this is Mark Vila from ColDesi, and today we're here to talk about the DigitalHeat FX 9541 transfer printer. This is the most advanced transfer printer on the market today, and it features a CMYK and white toner transfer printing, which lets us make hoodies just like this. So this is 100% polyester, full color transfer, done on this hoodie, and we've also added a right arm logo on that. And what's cool about the 9541 printer is we have a transfer just like this, right? So we took these two transfers, but because the paper size is a massive 13 by 19 inch size transfer, we were able to put two transfers and the two logos all on one transfer sheet and do it all in just a few steps. So let's get right to printing and showing how that works and go through the steps and make this hoodie for you. Now that we've printed our Beer Co. Brewery transfer, we're gonna go ahead and perform what we call the marry step. So what this means, for those of you who might not know, is right here we've got our transfer sheet, okay? The transfer is actually printed on what we maybe refer to as the back side of the sheet, which is the coated side of the sheet. Then we have our second sheet right here. This is actually the polymer that allows it to adhere to our garment. And what's great about this is referred to as a self-weeding process. And what that means is when we heat press this, the polymer only sticks to the toner and does not stick to the coating. So I'll show you how that works. So the first step is I'm going to take our transfer paper and put it down on our heat press. And this is a 13 by 19 paper, so it's great. I was able to fit two full-size transfers and two logos. So we're going to be able to make two hoodies with just one transfer sheet. We'll put our polymer side down. And we always use a finishing sheet as a protection sheet just to make sure we don't get anything on our heat press. And now we'll press it. Our marrying process is done, and now we can go ahead and peel our transfer. So what I've done here is I've taken our married transfers and I cut out the logo and the image that we're going to adhere to our garment here. And what I've got is a hoodie. So this is a fairly lightweight hoodie. It's a Port & Company Performance, so this is going to be a polyester hoodie. It's pretty lightweight. It's got a drawstring. It's nice. You can see this hoodie and other options like this on colemanandcompany.com actually, where we've got a lot of other wholesale blanks. But this is a pretty good one, nice lightweight, and it's a performance one, so for folks who like to work out in hoodies or something like that, it's a nice one. So we're just going to go ahead and do a couple things first. Get it nice and flat. Okay, now one thing about hoodies to be concerned about is that we do have a raised area right here, which can cause some concern if our transfer is close to it. So first I'm just going to take a look at the transfer and see how close it's going to be to this area. So I look at it here, if I'm putting it in this spot, a couple inches from the top, we're about an inch from the bottom. We could have some issues with this Tampa, Florida letters, especially these little lines. Now, in order to prevent some issues, one thing you can do is you can use a flexible finishing sheet right here. And this material actually has got a little bit of flex to it. So when we heat press with this, it's going to help to deal with this. Other things you could do are underneath, you could put a Teflon pillow or a Nomex pad. There's various things you could do, but this is just one way you can do it. So typically what I like to do is I always like to first of all, make sure everything's good. You can put some tape on here if you want to tape it into place, some heat tape. I will go ahead and put our finishing sheet, and then I'm going to use this flexible finishing sheet during the application portion just to help to make up for a little bit of the flex between the spots so we get a really good adhesion. You can find this on colemanandcompany.com as well, actually, flexible finishing sheet. So we removed our flexible sheet and our finishing sheet, and then now this does need to cool completely. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put this aside, and then this would be a case where we would just work on our next hoodie and we would complete our batch while this is cooling off. Now that it's nice and cool, we're going to do a cold peel. Just quick, like a Band-Aid. All right, so now that we've peeled our transfer off, we need to go ahead and finish this. And part of the finishing step that we're gonna use is we're gonna go back to our flexible finishing sheet. And one of the reasons I like this is because it's gonna help kind of match the texture of the garment. Now, we could also finish with our actual finishing sheet, and that's gonna give it a little bit of a smoother finish, but I do prefer on polyester too, especially this. The only tip I'm gonna say is when we're done, I am gonna let it rest for about 10 seconds or so before I actually peel it off. So let's go ahead and put it under our heat press and do our finish. And here is our finished and completed hoodie. It's got great color, great texture, and I'm sure the folks at Beer Co. Brewing are gonna love this for their Christmas Brew Fest in Tampa 2020. Now that hoodie is completed and looks great, but we can do something else because we had room on our transfer to do a couple of extra Beer Co. Brewery logos. We can go ahead and add those to the sleeve. And I'll show you a really cool way to do that. That's easy, and it's a nice attachment that you can add onto your Fusion heat press. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this lower platen. I'll replace it with this sleeve platen. Now these are cool because they do come with these Teflon covers if they're needed. So you can use that with or without, but for this case I'm going to not use it. And I've got my hoodie here with the logo on the front. And I'm going to go ahead and load in the right sleeve, just like this. Go right through the top. Now the right sleeve is loaded up. I am going to want to work in this area right here. So just below the arm, and you can use my seam on the center for the center. But one thing that I want to mention, and which is why I didn't use the Teflon, is because this right here, remember I talked about seams and sometimes they can give you troubles with your transfers. So we have a sleeve size Teflon pillow, another accessory I highly recommend. It's just designed to make your job easier. You slide that right in. And now we've got our spot to where it's going to go. Let's wrap our hood around and everything so we don't have anything in the way. The first thing I'm going to do here is I don't want to put my transfer in because, as you can see, there's some movement and kind of bubbling around and such and wrinkles. So I'm going to just press this real quick. So this is nice and smooth and pressed. We'll take our logo and I'm going to line it up essentially with that center right here, just a few inches down. Heat tape is great here. Finishing sheet as normal and press it just like the front. And the sleeve logo is placed and ready to go. This is now ready to deliver to our customer. So thank you for watching our demonstration on making this 100% polyester black hoodie with this full color Christmas Brew Fest transfer on it. And while we're wrapping this up, I'll tell you just some great features about this printer and why I get excited about using it. So for one, we did print two of these transfers and the two right sleeve logos, and this is on a large hoodie. So this really is just the size of the transfer just makes it fantastic to use. In addition to that, being able to actually print on dark polyester is a challenge. If you're not familiar with custom apparel, not everything can do full color transfers on dark colored polyester. So that's great too. In addition to this, we used a two-step paper today. There is a single-step paper for other applications, and that's a faster process, as you would imagine. And there's also a hard surface paper, so you could do things like coasters and mugs, metal, glass, things of that nature. So the DigitalHeat FX 9541 is probably or is one of our most diverse systems that we have in the ColDesi family of equipment. But it is a pretty large size printer and it does a lot. It's very fast. Now, if you're looking for something more compact, we've got other options too out there. But if you want the best and the latest technology, then I'm going to highly recommend the DigitalHeat FX 9541. So visit digitalheatfx.com and live chat with one of our pros and go ahead and ask them why the 9541 is the best white toner printer out there.